Opening scene, the Galactic Council's emergency beacon pierced through the void of space. Every civilized species in the known universe received the same message. The Devourers are coming. All is lost. The threat commander Zarkonian of the Galactic Defense Force stood before the holographic display. His forearms trembled as he watched entire star systems disappear from the map. The Devourers, an ancient machine race from beyond the galaxy, consumed everything in their path. They turned planets into fuel, stars into weapons. The council meeting representatives from 100 worlds gathered on Station Prime. The Altarians with their crystalline bodies, the Vorthan with their tentacled forms, and countless others. Each species had sent their finest warships. Together, they had assembled the largest fleet in galactic history, 50,000 ships. It wasn't enough. Admiral Zircon, the Supreme Commander, delivered the grim news. Our combined firepower can barely scratch their smallest harvester ship. We have 3 options: flee, surrender, or ... Or what? Asked Ambassador Thrix. We asked the humans. The uncomfortable truth. A silence fell over the council. Everyone knew about humans. They were the youngest spacefaring race, barely 200 years into their stellar journey. But they were also the only species the Galactic Council had collectively agreed to leave alone. Not because humans were weak, because they were terrifying when provoked. While other species had evolved beyond conflict, humans had perfected it. Their history was written in blood and triumph. They fought not just to survive, but to win. And their military technology, though crude by galactic standards, was devastatingly effective. The decision, the humans, refused our invitation to join the council 50 years ago, reminded Elder Vex. They said we were too soft, too dependent on treaties and words. Zarkonian spoke up. They also said if the universe ever truly needed them, they would answer. The vote was unanimous. They would send the call. Earth's response on Earth. In the underground bunker of the United Earth Defense Command, General Sarah Chon received the transmission. She watched the footage of the Devourers consuming entire worlds. Her aide, Lieutenant Jung-hoon, stood beside her. General, the Galactic Council is begging for our help. They're offering us anything: technology, resources, even council leadership. Sarah's lips curved into a grim smile. They don't understand. We don't fight for payment. She turned to Jung-hoon. Wake the Titans. The Titans awaken deep beneath Earth's surface, in bunkers on Mars. In the asteroid belt's hidden bases, humanity's ultimate weapons began to stir. The Battle Titans, massive war machines, each the size of a city, powered by miniature suns, armed with weapons that could crack moons. For 50 years, humanity had been preparing, not for the Galactic Council's wars, but for something worse. They had studied every transmission, every piece of technology that leaked through. They knew this day would come. Captain Min Jun stood on the bridge of Titan 1, nicknamed Earth's Fury. The massive war machine's AI Aria came online. All systems operational, Captain. Awaiting orders. Signal the fleet, Min Jun commanded. Tell them the wolves are leaving the den. The message. Sarah sent a single transmission back to the Galactic Council. Humanity answers. Send coordinates. Clear the battlefield. On Station Prime, Zarkonian read the message to the Council. They're coming. They're actually coming. Elder Vex asked nervously. How many ships are they sending? Zarkonian checked the sensors, detecting massive energy signatures leaving Earth's solar system. His translator struggled with the human term. They're not sending ships. They're sending ... Titans. 12 of them. 12? Against millions of Devourers? Before Zarkonian could respond, space itself seemed to scream as the first Titan emerged from hyperspace near Station Prime. It was impossibly huge, bristling with weapons that defied galactic understanding of physics. A transmission came through. Sarah Chun's face appeared on every screen. This is General Chun of Earth's Titan fleet. We've answered your call. Now stand back and watch how humans handle bullies. The universe had asked for help. They were about to learn why humans were the apex predators of the cosmos. Asterisk. The arrival of the 12 Titans emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, each one unique in its design, but equally terrifying in its purpose. Titan 1, Earth's Fury, led the formation, its hull black as the void between stars, marked only by the blue glow of its weapon systems. Captain Min-jun studied the tactical display. The Devourer fleet stretched across 3 solar systems, millions of harvester drones, thousands of processor ships, and at the center, the Devourer Prime, a construct the size of Jupiter. Aria. Analysis, Min-jun commanded. Enemy forces outnumber us approximately 800,000 to 1, Captain. However, I calculate a 73% probability of total victory. Lieutenant C.O. Yeon, the weapons officer, grinned. I love those odds. The Galactic Fleet's shock on Station Prime. The combined Galactic Fleet watched in stunned silence. Admiral Zircon's tentacles quivered as his sensors tried to make sense of the Titans. Construction. Impossible, whispered the Altarian science officer. They're power cores. They're using controlled black holes as batteries. Their armor isn't made of any known material. It's compressed space-time itself. Sarkonian noticed something else. Look at their weapons. Those aren't energy projectors or plasma cannons. They're reality warpers? The human Doctrine General Sarah Chun opened a channel to all allied forces. Galactic Fleet, this is Earth Command. We appreciate your gathering, but we need you to fall back to the designated safe zone. What you're about to witness violates several of your treaties regarding warfare. Elder Vex protested. General Chun, we have 50,000 ships ready to assist. With respect, Elder, your ships are made for civilization. Ours are made for annihilation. Fall back. That's not a request. First strike, the Devourers detected the new arrivals. A swarm of 1 million harvester drones peeled away from the main fleet, heading straight for the Titans. Each drone was the size of a city block, armed with molecular disintegrators that had torn through the galactic fleets. Best shields like Paper Dot Captain Min-jun watched them approach. C.O. Yan, warm up the Hellfire Array. With pleasure, Captain. Titan 1's hull split open in 12 places, revealing weapon systems that bent reality around them. The space in front of the Titan began to ripple. Fire. What emerged wasn't a beam or projectile. It was deletion. A wave of pure nothingness that simply erased anything it touched from existence. No explosion, no debris. The million drones simply ceased to be. The Devourers respond for the first time in eons. The Devourer Prime communicated. Its message echoed across all frequencies. What are you? General Chun personally responded. We're humans. We're the species that split the atom before we cured the common cold. We reached for the stars not in peace, but in preparation for war. And you made the mistake of threatening our neighbors. The other Titans joined into Mars Vengeance, commanded by Captain Dimitri, deployed its specialty swarm missiles that reproduced mid-flight. 1 missile became 2, 2 became 4, exponentially multiplying until millions filled the void. Titan 3, Luna's Wrath, under Captain Yuki's command, activated its gravity manipulator, creating artificial black holes that pulled entire Devourer formations into oblivion. Titan 4 through 12 each brought their own flavor of devastation. 1 fired beams that aged targets millions of years in seconds. Another deployed nanobots that converted enemy ships into more nanobots. The youngest Titan, Mercury's Dream, piloted by the prodigy Captain Ahmad, wielded antimatter torpedoes that turned matter into pure energy. The Devourer's adaptation. The Devourers weren't helpless. They began adapting, their ancient intelligence analyzing human weapons and developing counters. They formed a massive collective shield, pooling the energy of millions of ships. Captain Jung-hoon, commanding Titan 7 Neptune's Rage, noticed the adaptation. General, they're learning. They're starting to predict our attack patterns. Sarah smiled coldly. Good. Arya, execute Protocol Omega. Show them why humans are the only species that weaponized chaos theory. The Chaos Protocol All. 12 Titans suddenly began firing randomly, or so it appeared. In reality, each shot was calculated to create cascading effects. A gravity pulse here would push debris there, which would collide with a Devourer ship, causing it to fire, hitting another ship, creating a chain reaction. Within minutes, the Devourer's own formation became their enemy. Their synchronized collective became a liability. As chaos spread through their ranks like a virus. The universe watches from the safe zone. The galactic fleet observed in horrified awe. This wasn't warfare as they knew it. This was systematic extinction delivered with mathematical precision. Ambassador Thrix whispered, "They're not fighting the Devourers. They're deleting them." Zarkonian nodded slowly. "Now I understand why they refused to join the Council. We seek to preserve life. They were built to end it. Asterisk. The Devourer's desperation. 3 hours into the battle, the Devourer fleet had lost 40% of its forces. The Devourer Prime, the ancient intelligence that had consumed galaxies, broadcast a message across all frequencies. We offer negotiation. We offer treaty. We offer coexistence. The Galactic Council immediately convened. Elder Vex pleaded through the communication channel. "General Chun, they're offering peace. This is unprecedented. The Devourers have never negotiated before." Sarah's response was swift and cold. "They're not offering peace. They're buying time to adapt. This is what you never understood about predators. They only negotiate when they're losing." The human philosophy captain, Min Jun, opened a private channel to the Galactic Council. Behind him, the bridge of Titan 1 hummed with deadly efficiency. "You want to know the difference between humans and the rest of the galaxy?" he asked. "You evolved past warfare. You see it as a failure of diplomacy. We see diplomacy as a pause between wars. We never stopped preparing because we knew somewhere, someone, something like the Devourers would come." Zarkonian asked. "But surely preservation of life is exactly what we're doing," Sezeoyan interrupted. "How many worlds did the Devourers consume before you called us? How many trillions died while you tried to negotiate? We're not the monsters here. We're the antibiotics. The hidden truth on Titan 5, Jupiter's Pride. Captain Rashid discovered something in the Devourers' code transmissions. General, you need to see this. The DEVOURERS ... They're not entirely machine. There's organic base code. They were created by someone." Sarah's eyes narrowed. "By who?" "Unknown, but the TIMESTAMP ... General, these things are older than our galaxy. They're from the universe's previous iteration. The revelation sent shockwaves through the fleet." Lieutenant Jung-hoon asked the question everyone was thinking: how many galaxies have they consumed? According to this ... thousands, maybe tens of thousands. The real enemy, the Devourer Prime, realizing its deception had failed, revealed its true form. The Jupiter-sized construct began to unfold, revealing layer after layer of consumed civilization's technology, integrated and weaponized. It grew until it dwarfed even the Titans. We are eternal. We are inevitable. We have consumed species that conquered. Death itself, you're primitive. Violence cannot. Its transmission cut off as Titan 12. Mercury's dream fired something new. Captain Ahmad, the youngest Titan commander, at just 22 years old, had been quiet until now. "Sorry for the interruption," Ahmad broadcast, "but I've been analyzing your code. You're not eternal. You're just a very old virus. And I just figured out your antivirus. The Cascade virus, Ahmad, had created something unprecedented. Virus that targeted the fundamental code the Devourers used to control their consumed technology. It didn't destroy them. It freed everything they had absorbed. Suddenly, the Devourer Prime began to convulse. Billions of different technologies, fighting styles, and philosophies that had been forcefully integrated began to reject each other. The construct started tearing itself apart from within. The Council's horror and hope elder, Vex, watched the Devourer Prime writhe in agony. This is ... monstrous. General Chun's face appeared on their screens. No, Elder. Monstrous was letting them consume galaxies while you debated. We're not here to be your heroes. We're here to be your monsters, so you can keep being civilized. But then her expression softened slightly. Though I admit, Captain Ahmad's solution is more elegant than pure destruction. He's giving every consumed civilization a chance to die free rather than enslaved. Unexpected allies as the Devourer. Prime unraveled. Fragments of ancient civilization's eyes began broadcasting. They had been trapped for eons, their consciousness enslaved to serve the Devourers. One signal was particularly strong, a species calling themselves the Architects. We created the Devourers as caretakers for our ascension. They corrupted. You ... humans, you have freed us to finally die. We thank you. But beware, we were not the only ones who created such things. The turn of battle with the Devourer Prime compromised. The rest of the fleet began to falter. Some units went rogue, no longer controlled by the Central Intelligence. Others simply shut down, their purpose lost. Captain Min Jun surveyed the battlefield. All Titans switched to cleanup protocol. SEO Yun, prepare the erasure field. We're not leaving any of this technology floating around for scavengers. Captain, Arya interrupted. I'm detecting something. The Devourer Prime's core is initiating a dimensional breach. It's trying to escape to another reality. Min Jun's jaw tightened. Not happening. All Titans, converge on my position. We're going to show it why humans invented the concept of overkill. Asterisk the dimensional breach, the Devourer Prime's core. A massive condensed consciousness from millions of consumed species tore open a hole in reality itself. The breach writhed like a living wound, pulling in light, matter, and the fabric of spacetime. It's destabilizing local space. Shouted Lieutenant CEO Yan. If that breach expands, it'll consume this entire sector. Captain Min Jun didn't hesitate. All Titans, form Configuration Omega. We're closing that door. Configuration Omega. The 12 Titans moved in perfect synchronization, a deadly ballet practiced in countless simulations. They formed a dodecahedron around the breach, each one representing a point in three-dimensional space. General Sarah. Chun watched from Titan 6, Saturn's glory. Remember your training. We knew this day might come. Every human who ever lived, who ever died, led to this moment. Captain Ahmad's young voice crackled over comms. General, the energy requirements for a full containment. We'll burn out our cores. Then we burn them. That's why we brought 12. We only need one to survive to tell the story. The Galactic Fleet's realization, Admiral. Zircon watched the Titans preparing for what was clearly a suicide maneuver. They're going to sacrifice themselves? Sarkonian's 4 arms trembled. Call them back. We can evacuate the sector. No. Elder Vex's ancient voice was heavy with understanding. Look at their positions. They're not just containing the breach. They're turning it into a weapon. The human gambit Captain Jung Hoon on Titan 7 explained to his crew. The Devourer wants to escape to another dimension? Fine. But it's taking our gift with it, a virus that will spread to every version of itself across every reality. We're not just ending it here. We're ending it everywhere. Each Titan began channeling energy into the formation. The space between them crackled with power that violated several laws of physics. The breach began to stabilize, but also to change color from void black to burning white. The Devourer's fear for the first time in its eons of existence. The Devourer Prime experienced fear. What are you doing? This will destroy you as well. General Chun smiled grimly. That's the difference between you and us. You consume to live. We live to protect. And sometimes protection means sacrifice. Captain Min Jun added, besides, you clearly haven't studied human history. We invented the concept of mutually assured destruction. We're quite comfortable with it. Personal moments as the Titan's cores began to overheat. Each crew had moments of reflection. On Titan 3, Captain Yuki recorded a message for Earth. Tell them we held the line. Tell them the monsters under the bed learned to fear the children of Earth. Captain Dmitri on Titan 2 shared vodka with his crew, a Russian tradition before facing the impossible. Young Captain Ahmad prayed quietly, then smiled. If we die as legends. Not bad for a kid from Cairo who just wanted to see the stars. The unexpected suddenly, the galactic fleet moved. Not away from the danger, but toward it. 50,000 ships formed a secondary ring around the Titans. Admiral Zircon's voice boomed across all channels. Titans of Earth, you will not face this alone. We may not have your weapons, but we have something else, the gratitude of 1,000 species. All ships, transfer power to the human vessels. The Unity energy beams from every ship in the galactic fleet connected to the Titans, not as weapons, but as lifelines. The Altarians gave their crystalline energy, the Vorthans their bioelectric power, species after species contributing what they could. Lieutenant Seo Yun gasped. Captain, our core temperatures are stabilizing. They're sharing the load. General Chun's eyes widened, a rare show of emotion. You beautiful, stupid, brave fools. Elder Vex responded, we learn from the best, General. Humanity taught us that sometimes civilization means standing with those who stand for you. The final push with the combined power of the entire galactic fleet. The Titans compressed the breach into a singularity. The Devourer Prime's core was caught between dimensions, infected with Ahmad's virus, spreading its destruction to every parallel version of itself. Devourer's last transmission was not a threat, but a question. HFY. Captain Min Jun answered for all humanity. Because we can. Because we must. Because that's what heroes do, they close the door on nightmares. The collapse, the singularity imploded with a light that could be seen from neighboring galaxies. When it faded, the Devourers were gone. Not just from this reality, but from all realities they had infected. But the victory came at a cost. 3 Titans, 4, 8, and 11 had burned out their cores completely. Their crews had given everything. Asterisk. After the storm, 6 months had passed since the Battle of the Dimensional Breach. The universe was different, now not just safer, but fundamentally changed. Where once there had been fear and isolation, now there was unity forged in the crucible of near extinction. Captain Min Jun stood before the newly constructed memorial on Station Prime. 3 massive monuments honored Titans 4, 8, and 11, and their crews who had given everything. The inscription, written in every known language, simply read, "They held the line." The new council, the Galactic Council chambers, had been redesigned. Where once there were hierarchical tiers, now there was a circle. At its heart sat 12 chairs, 1 for each Titan commander, including 3 that would remain forever empty, but never forgotten. General Sarah Chun accepted the position of military advisor, not as humanity's representative, but as the galaxy's guardian. We don't seek to rule, she told the assembly, but we will teach. The universe has learned that peace without the ability to defend it is just delayed conquest. The Academy on Mars, Humanity established the first interspecies military academy. Captain Ahmad, despite his youth, was appointed as its first director. Species that had forgotten war over millennia came to learn not how to conquer, but how to protect. Zarkonian, now promoted to Supreme Admiral of the reformed Galactic Defense Force, watched his son train alongside human cadets. "They're not teaching us to be like them," he told Elder Vex. "They're teaching us to be better versions of ourselves." The Titans. Evolution. The surviving 9 Titans underwent massive upgrades, incorporating technology salvaged from the Devourer remains and freely shared by grateful civilizations. But more importantly, each Titan was now paired with a multi-species crew. Lieutenant Seo Yeon worked alongside an Altarian weapons specialist. Their different approaches to destruction, creating innovations neither species could achieve alone. "Humans bring the fury," she explained to a documentary crew. "Other species bring the precision. Together, we're unstoppable." The warning deep in space, automated beacons were deployed at the galaxy's edge. Each one broadcast the same message in millions of languages. This galaxy is protected by Earth's Titans. We are humanity. We are the species that weaponized stubbornness. Enter in peace, or don't enter at all. Captain Jung-hoon had insisted on adding a second part. But if you come as friends, you'll find no warmer welcome in the universe. The Discovery, while analyzing the Devourer wreckage, Captain Rashid made a disturbing discovery. "General, you need to see this." The architect's warning was real. We found references to at least 17 other caretaker species like the Devourers. They're out there in other galaxies. Sarah studied the data. Then we keep building. We keep training. We keep watching. "And if they come?" asked Admiral Zircon. Captain Min-jun, who had been quiet, spoke up. "Then they learn what the Devourers learned. Humanity doesn't just win wars. We end them, permanently. The human touch, but it wasn't all preparation for war. Humanity shared more than just military might. They brought their art, their music, their literature. They taught other species about something uniquely human hope in the face of impossible odds. A young Vorthan artist created a sculpture that captured the moment the Titans arrived 12 lights against infinite darkness. It became the symbol of the new age. Captain Yuki established cultural exchange programs. "We're not just warriors," she insisted. "We're human. We love, we laugh, we create. That's why we fight so hard. We have so much to protect." The next generation on Earth, children played with toy Titans, dreaming of the day they might command one. But their games included alien children, now Altarian younglings with their crystalline giggles, tentacled Vorthan youth learning human games. Captain Ahmad watched them play from his office window at the academy. His aide, a Zirconian named Velx, asked, "Do you think they'll ever need to use what we're teaching them?" Ahmad smiled. "I hope not. But if they do, they'll be ready. That's the human way. Hope for peace. Prepare for war." The final message as the ceremony ended, General Sarah Chun stood before the assembled species of the galaxy. Her words were broadcast to every inhabited world. The universe called for help. Humanity answered. Not because we're warriors, though we are. Not because we're powerful, though we've become so. We answered because in our darkest nights, we've called out too. And now we stand together. The universe doesn't need to plead anymore. It just needs to call. The Titans will always answer. The crowd erupted tentacles, wings, crystalline forms, and human hands all raised in unity. The age of isolation was over. The age of the Titans had begun. And somewhere in the vast darkness between galaxies, other threats stirred. But for the first time in cosmic history, they would find the universe ready. Humanity had changed everything. The monsters under the universe's bed had learned to fear the protectors in the light. Epilogue: The legend lives on years later, when new species discovered spaceflight and received their first transmission from the Galactic Council. They would hear the story of when the universe faced its darkest hour, and 12 titans from a small blue world stood against the infinite dark. They would learn that humans were dangerous not because they loved war, but because they loved peace enough to become warriors. They were the species that turned their greatest weakness, their mortality, into their greatest strength, their willingness to sacrifice. And every child of every species would know, when the darkness comes, when hope seems lost, when the universe itself trembles in fear, the battle titans will answer, asterisk,